why you shouldn't do medicine.
And this might hurt a few feelings. We see so many junior doctors come up and I'm just like, you're not fit for it.
That's a bit harsh, but there are honestly 6 reasons why people wouldn't want to do medicine as their profession.
If you're doing it for these reasons, have a second thought. The first one is if you want to be rich. So as a doctor, you make an honest living. Because we work so many hours, obviously we're going to have enough money to do some things. I work probably 80 hours a week as a maxillofacial surgical registrar, and I probably earn around 120,000 New Zealand dollars. So that's around 60,000 American.
And as a second year registrar here that works in internal medicine, we work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. And we always do like a 16-hour day, sometimes on the weekend, sometimes during the week.
Brutal.
And we earn about 100,000 a year. Take home pay is like 5,000 a month. I think the hard thing is you're never going to be rich because... What? Okay, well, let me reframe that. You will always have to trade your time for money. I think the amount of responsibility and sacrifice that you have to do to get to that end goal is never going to be worth it if it's just for money.
If that's definitely your only goal, it's definitely not worth it.
Because on the way there, you're not rich.
No.
And it's also really hard to get into those competitive specialties that can earn a lot.
And a lot of it is earned in private. So started a business, you've built your clientele. And so by the end of it, you could be earning a lot of money, but there are definitely other professions that earn more money per time.
The second reason why you shouldn't do medicine is if you don't like working with people. If you're not a team player, it's going to make the job really hard because there's no way you can do everything yourself, and you can never know everything yourself. You have to be humble and be able to ask for help so that people get the best care possible.
Yeah. Even in surgery, you still have to work with your anesthetist, your nurse, your junior staff, your senior staff. You're never there 100% of the time. You rely on other teams after for continuity of care. So even if you're the most big hotshot surgeon, you're still reliant on other people and you need to work with them. So number 3, you want to leave work at work.
We're actually reading this from my Instagram post because I think a lot of people really resonated with these as points that they may not have thought of. So medicine is not a 9-to-5 job, and it's really hard if you want to leave everything at work and that when you go home, you don't have to worry about anything else. It's too much of an unselfish career to be able to do that. You have people's lives in your hands. There's no way that you're gonna go home and just forget about them.
The greatest doctors that I've worked with are the ones that really, really care for your patients. And to be honest, the most fulfilling times that I've ever had working as a doctor is when I work and I put in that extra effort outside, right? It's like giving your cell phone number to a trusted patient to contact them about their cancers. Or, hey, I finish at work at 4, but I really want to talk to their family about it. It's really those moments that make being a doctor so worthwhile. It's because you're really helping people. But if you think of it as, hey, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now, I'm on my break, I start at 8, so you'll have to hand over to someone else that will also hand over to me, that also hands over to another person. It's a really big change in the culture of medicine from what it was before and what it is becoming to really help with people's mental health and give each other rostered breaks. But the truth is, caring for people doesn't end at 4 p.m. Caring for people is a privilege that we have, and I think that's what makes medicine great, and what really makes a great doctor is true compassion and really just want to help the people that are around you. And that could be your team members, that could be your staff, or just anyone that's within the hospital system.
I completely agree with that point. I think it's a fine line.
You want to get this one?
Right, yeah.
Oh, something crazy is gonna happen. Watch out.
So I think that's a really important point. And I think there's a fine line because we're not saying that we want people to work 24 hours.
I work 24 hours, but that's cool.
Yeah. We don't want people to work 24 hours because I think that's unrealistic and people do burn out. People do need breaks, right? But we're talking about in the gray area. So of course we're rostered until finishing work at around 4 or 4:30, right? But if you really know a patient really well, you've been taking them on a journey, maybe died at 4:30, and family are coming in. Now that's not something that you just want to hand over to the person on call, because you've built a relationship with that family and you want to close the loop and you want to make sure that they feel comfortable with what has happened. But if it's something like looking at an ECG and the nurse just hasn't done an ECG yet, now that's totally something that you can hand over. We're not advocating that people should burn themselves out, but we're saying the most rewarding part of medicine sometimes happens out of the time that you've been allotted to work. You can choose to go home, but actually the best part of medicine is in that moment that is outside of work usually, if that makes sense.
We out.
Okay.
Are you RDY? Ready.
The fourth reason that you shouldn't do medicine is if you hate exams, because medicine never stops. There is exam after exam. The profession is constantly changing. The knowledge that we have right now is completely different from the knowledge that we had 10 years ago. If you're not a learner, you're just going to fall behind and be doing the wrong thing for your patients.
And the way to make sure that you are learning as a system to ensure that people are providing high level of care is an examination. They have to do it somehow to make sure that you're learning.
So studying in med school is hard, but studying when you're working is even harder. And so we've actually just made a study crash course, which we're offering a free day for if you're interested.
Link in the bio. It's really focused on how to make yourself super efficient, especially in day 2. You get a lot of our personal kind of things that we've tried and used, and so if you're anything similar to us, then it'll be super helpful. But otherwise, don't worry about it, and we'll move on to number 5. You hate hierarchy.
Yeah, if you hate hierarchy, you're probably not going to enjoy the journey of medicine, because medicine is like an apprenticeship. Like what you learn in textbooks is great. The main learning comes from experience. And that's why we have this kind of system where you have the boss, the consultant, or is it attendant in the US, who have like 30 years of experience, who when they look at a patient just know what the right thing to do is. And then you also have the house officer, which I don't know actually in the US if they do have that, who are just kind of
interns.
doing interns, yeah, who are doing a bit more of the admin work and just learning through the actions of the resident and the attending.
CC's mum always says something really interesting. She says, if you want the best IT person, pick the younger person. If you want the best doctor, pick the older doctor. As CC said, research and textbook is only the start of caring for people. And that's why AI and ChatGPT can't really provide medical care as well as someone with that much more experience. Although all of that information is helpful, it's only the start. Especially as I go through surgery, you realize that even the brightest of junior consultants will never ever beat a consultant that's been around for a really long time, because it's experience, it's understanding the multitude of things that go into caring for people. People aren't just mathematical equations that you can plug into something and treat. And so that's the reason why hierarchy is huge. And so if you come in arrogant during medicine or being a doctor, you absolutely get crushed straight away. And so if you blend those two things of like knowing new research but also having experience, then you're going to have a really fantastic doctor.
That's true. And the last point that we have is you shouldn't do medicine if you don't want responsibility over people's lives. And now this is the main reason why people leave medicine, in my opinion. I think that people think that they want the responsibility because they want to be responsible for helping people's lives be better, but then you also have to accept the responsibility that you may also make their lives worse. That's the hard thing, that sometimes your mistakes will lead to perhaps a patient's death. It's never your fault. It's always a team and it's always a systems problem, but it's something that you have to be willing to accept and live with and learn from in a profession like medicine. I don't think you need to be arrogant to do medicine, but I think you need to have some sort of confidence in yourself that you are good enough to make the right decision for people's lives to be better.
It's really important to want to take responsibility, because as you go up in this hierarchy, you take more and more responsibility. That responsibility that if you take on board allows you to learn, allows you to gain that experience, and allows you to problem solve all of the things that that happens. Taking responsibility has a whole lot of risks, but also it has a whole lot of opportunities for learning. As CC said, it's really important to understand that people's lives aren't actually just determined by you doing something. It's a multitude of things. They have their whānau or their family looking after them. They have their environment. They also take responsibility. The nurses take responsibility. The pharmacist takes responsibility. And so it's a shared responsibility that includes the patient. You know, taking responsibility is really a bit of a catch-22 because the truth is it's arrogant to think that you actually are the only one that has the ability to save someone's life, or you're the only person that can do it. I think that's arrogant, and that's not taking responsibility.
Cool. So those are our 6 reasons why we think people shouldn't do medicine. And if you relate to those, maybe it's not the right thing for you. If you're interested in more, we can make another video. But otherwise, check out what YouTube thinks that you might enjoy. And if you're interested in more of this kind of stuff, please subscribe because we're gonna make more of these type of videos.
Thanks so much for watching.